So the war is spreading. It has also divided the world into two different camps. Which one does India belong to? This weekend, New Delhi had a chance to demonstrate that. The United Nations General Assembly was debating a resolution that called for a ceasefire in Gaza. Now, the resolution itself is non-binding, but it's a political message. It tells us where each country stands. In India's case, it was an abstention. New Delhi did not vote for or against the resolution that called for a ceasefire. It was neither for nor against the ceasefire. India abstained. And this is how the Indian envoy explained that decision. Listen in.
Terrorism is a malignancy and knows no borders, nationality, or race. The world should not buy into any justification of terror acts. India is deeply concerned at the deteriorating security situation and astounding loss of civilian lives in the ongoing conflict. The escalation of hostilities in the region will only exacerbate the humanitarian crisis. It is necessary for all parties to display the utmost responsibility.
The overall result looked like this. 120 countries supported the resolution, 14 countries opposed it, and 45 countries abstained. Now, the UNGA has 193 members, so the resolution passed. Most of the Arab and Muslim nations supported the resolution, so did countries in the global south, but the West was divided. The United States said no. They voted no. France voted yes. Canada, Germany, and the UK abstained. But our focus tonight is on India. Remember, the resolution called for a ceasefire in this war. India abstained. What does New Delhi's abstention signal? A possible change in policy, an official pro-Israel tilt. There are two reasons why we say this. Number one, India's past record. We looked at recent UNGA votes on the Israel-Palestine issue, specifically on ceasefires. And here's how India has voted. In 2018, there was a ceasefire call in Gaza. India voted yes, there should be a ceasefire. In 2009, there was another ceasefire call in Gaza. Again, India voted yes. In 2006, a resolution criticized Israeli military actions in Gaza. India supported it. So the pattern is clear. New Delhi has always called for a ceasefire. But this time we abstained. Reason number two. Just look at who else abstained with India. Canada, Greece, Australia, the United Kingdom, Japan, Italy. And what's common about these countries? They're all US allies. They do support the two-state solution, but we also know where their loyalties lie, with Israel. The question then is, why did India join this club? Reports say because this resolution did not condemn Hamas. That's why India did not support it. And that's a fair point. This resolution was drafted by Arab countries. It did condemn all forms of terrorism, but it did not specifically name Hamas. And apparently India took offense to that. There was an attempt made to amend this Arab resolution to add the bit about Hamas. Around 88 countries, including India, supported that amendment. But it wasn't enough. To amend a resolution, you need two-thirds majority. At the UNGA, that's around 128 countries. 128 countries should support you for a resolution to be amended. So this amendment was defeated. The original text was put to vote. Hence, India abstained. Now, the opposition in India is not happy about that decision. The Congress party, for instance, has called it shocking and shameful. But it does reflect India's present ties with West Asia. Israel and India have emerged as close friends. There is also a personal equation between Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Netanyahu. It's been clear since October 7th. Prime Minister Modi offered his full support to Israel. In return, Netanyahu dialed Modi. He gave him an update on the status of operations. Plus, there is the issue of terrorism. The trigger here was not the two-state solution or Israeli settlements. The trigger here was a Hamas terror attack. And India knows what that's like, to be a victim of terrorism. Maybe that influenced India's vote as well. But it doesn't mean that New Delhi has abandoned Palestine or the two-state solution. On Sunday, Prime Minister Modi spoke to the President of Egypt, Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. The Egyptian readout says the President called for a ceasefire, but the Indian readout does not mention that. It says both leaders agreed on early restoration of peace. So not quite a ceasefire. It's a tough balancing act for India, really. Like the Ukraine war, questions will be asked. There could also be pressure from the Arab world. How India navigates that will be key. If New Delhi keeps abstaining, it could signal a new status quo, a new stage in the dehyphenating of Israel and Palestine. And if we return to backing a ceasefire, well, it would rest all the speculation. It could mean Friday's vote was an anomaly, more to do with the text than the sentiment. Israel keeps saying it will be a long war, so chances are the United Nations General Assembly will be dealing with a lot more resolutions.